All right, let's get right into it. Today we're talking about a really fascinating approach to inner work called the flow of life technique. And what it is, really, is a gentle, body-led way of looking at the patterns and blocks that, let's face it, we all carry with us.
So let's just start with this one question, because it's at the absolute heart of this whole thing. What if your body already knows the sequence for its own healing? What if the real work isn't about trying to figure everything out up here in our heads, but it's actually about learning how to just listen?
And this quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? The whole technique is built on this idea that the body is holding the map. Our conscious mind, the part that's always analyzing and trying to solve everything, it doesn't get to be in the driver's seat for this one. Instead, it gets to take a step back and just listen.
Okay, so before we get into the nuts and bolts of how this all works, we've got to understand the philosophy it's built on. And these aren't just rules to follow. They're more like guiding principles that create this really respectful and, most importantly, safe space for change to happen all on its own.
And what's so powerful about this is that the entire approach, all of it, is built on just 3 core ideas. That's it. 3 simple but really profound concepts that guide every single step of the way, making it both incredibly gentle and incredibly deep.
So what are they? Well, first, the idea that healing happens in layers. You're not trying to fix everything at once. Your body shows what's ready to be looked at, usually around big themes like safety or health or fulfillment. Second, the subconscious shows us what our conscious mind just can't see, using these tiny, subtle signals in the body. And third, and this one is so important, nothing is ever forced. The whole thing moves at your body's pace, and that right there is the key to creating real safety.
All right, let's get to the practical part, the 9-step roadmap. Now, don't let the number 9 intimidate you. To make it way easier to grasp, these steps are all grouped into 4 clear phases. Think of it less like a rigid script you have to follow and more like a fluid map that literally adapts to whatever is going on inside you.
So the journey really unfolds in these 4 phases. It all starts with safety and connection. You're just creating a calm state so the subconscious feels safe enough to talk. Then you move into identify and locate, and this is where your body itself literally points to what layer it's working on and where you feel it. Next up is understand and release, and this step is just beautiful, because you first honor why a block was created. It was there to protect you, before you allow it to gently soften and change. And finally, integrate and flow, where you ground that change into your whole system, getting back to your natural rhythm.
So, you might be wondering, okay, who is this actually for? Let's take a look at the kinds of struggles where this gentle, body-first method can be a real game changer.
This technique can be especially powerful if you find yourself dealing with constant emotional overwhelm or anxiety, or maybe ongoing tension in your relationships. It's also incredibly helpful for that feeling of being stuck or disconnected, what people sometimes call a freeze or shutdown state. It can also help with things like identity blocks, a generally reactive nervous system, and even that chronic feeling of inner pressure or physical tightness in your body.
And this is where you can really see how different this is from more traditional methods. Talk therapy is usually led by the mind, right? It follows the story. But this technique is body-led. It's somatic. It follows the physical cues from your body, not the mental narrative. And here's the biggest takeaway for a lot of people. You don't have to retell or even consciously remember painful stories for this to work. And for anyone who's been through it, that can be a profound and very welcome relief.
Now this all sounds really nice, but you might be asking, why? Why is being so gentle actually powerful? Well, the secret is that it works with the incredible wisdom of our nervous system instead of trying to fight against it.
The magic, if you want to call it that, really comes down to these 4 things. First, it relies on subconscious intelligence, this deep trust that the smarter part of you already knows what the real issue is. Second, it allows for what's called somatic sequencing. Basically, when your body finally feels safe, it can complete old, unfinished protective responses all on its own. Third, it uses something called an ideomotor dialogue. These are tiny, involuntary micro-movements that are like a direct line to your subconscious, totally bypassing your analytical brain. And finally, by never forcing anything, your nervous system stays calm and regulated, which ironically allows for a much deeper release.
So we'll end on this thought. This entire technique is built on the incredible premise that your body is holding on to some profound wisdom. It's not broken, it doesn't need to be fixed, it just needs to be heard. So the only question left, really, is this: what is your body waiting to tell you?